All right, tell me about the activities at the steel mill.
Well, at that time, early, they sponsored a baseball team here in Washington Township. And then they had, for the steelworkers themselves, they had a big barbecue at the President Fairgrounds every year that I took care of. And they would tell me, Roby, you spend what you have to. In those days, sometimes, I think the most I ever spent was about $3,000 for a lot of people, but that was a lot of money in those days.
Sure.
And then we used to have tours that would come through, and I'd take several of them through to see in the rolling mill, because it had a place where people could walk and it was safe, and so I would conduct those once in a while. I was always active in the union, and then we would have a Christmas party for kids, and we'd invite every kid in the township at that time.
Yeah.
Of course, we'd get a couple of 300, but we'd have presents for everybody. At one time at the old Garden of Valor, there was a roller skating rink out there. We'd take the kids out and let them skate. And if it was too many kids, we'd have to maybe, okay, you got 20 minutes to skate, and then you got to. But we always had a lot of activities for kids on Christmas. What the guys would do, and well, like I say, I'm always in charge of it. And the guys would we'd have turkey raffles at Thanksgiving and Christmas to raise money for the kids' parties.
Wow.
And then usually we'd have a dance for the adults after the day we had, especially when we had the parties at the Garden of Valor. But
That's really great. So the steel worker families, did you socialize together
oh yes,
with all of
quite
these
often,
parties
yeah,
and
yeah, oh quite often, yeah.
and a lot lived in Niles?
Yeah, Niles in Union City, and yeah, mostly, but not only the Niles area, the whole Washington Township area. They came
Right.
from,
They came from
but I would imagine all within 10 miles.
So when you came, how did you get around as far as transportation? Did you?
Well, I didn't have a car until I came back from the Navy, and I didn't have a car. A lot of people didn't, but there was always ample ways to come by. Like I say, it just never passed my mind, never entered my mind, let's put it this way, about an automobile at that time.
So how did you get to work?
I probably went with someone. I didn't own a car until after I came back from the service.
Oh, okay.
I bought the Julio Pontiac.
You did?
They were in Niles at the time,
Right.
the Pontiac service.
So you bought a new car?
No, not at that time. I bought quite a few since then,
Uh-huh.
but not at that time. No, I bought it was the last Pontiac, big 4-door sedan that I bought. Yeah,
Okay.
kept
So,
it for I don't know.
wow, that's
Yeah.
great. So you got married in 1955.
55.
And tell me about your family.
Well, Millie and I had a great life. We've been fortunate enough. We've traveled all over the country here, and we owned some type of a camping thing, anywhere from a tent to an RV over the years. Drove to Cabo Lucas twice, drove to Alaska once, all over the United States, and to Mexico many, many, many times after I retired. We would go down there in the spring, stay a month or 6 weeks at what they call Rocky Point, at Port of Alaska. It's only about 65 miles below the border, and you got to know almost the same people from the Midwest, a lot of Canadians. We'd meet there every year, and I was looking through some stuff today. It's so many, I can't remember the names, and I don't have anything written on the pictures, and it's just, I don't know, it's disastrous.
So many good friends that
Yeah,
you
we
over
had,
the
yeah, a
years.
lot of, we had a great time. I'll tell you, I wouldn't want to change a minute.
So in the 50s, you got married in 55, so let's look at the 50s. Your son
Mhm.
was
He went to school at the Niles Elementary School on 2nd Street.
And his
he
name
went to,
is?
He went to Vallejo Mills, and he finished school at Mission San Jose.
Okay.
And
So his name is Steve, correct?
Steve, yes.
Steve, and he, what year did he graduate from high school? Probably in the 60s,
Yeah, let's see.
60,
Well,
maybe 68
mhm.
or 69,
Something like, I'm not sure exactly.
something like
Then he,
that.
then he went, well, at that time, he was all, after he graduated, he went to Cal State in Hayward, and then he went to work, he used to work in the summer, a lot of the guys at O.A. Smith, the water heater place in Newark.
Mhm.
And so, at about he worked there about a year or so, I go, as production planner. And at that time, he was making a hell of a good salary at that time, but he said, Dad, I'm so good at what I do, they're not gonna let me do anything else. So that's when he decided to go to law school.
Mhm.
And so,
Okay,
anyway.
so what about when your son was in elementary school and high school? You
Well,
said
he was
went
always
to the
active, he played guitar, he had him a little band, and he played guitar, but he was always active in all activities. My wife would take him here and there, and anywhere he had to go. And he was an Eagle Scout at 14. We were a member of the Methodist Church here in Fremont, and still are. And got a full life, and like I said, with me taking a month's vacation every year, he got an education also in the
So
places
you
we've been.
took vacations, I guess, in the summer so that you
Oh,
could
yeah.
go, you could go, oh, so you took a month once a year?
I did. That's one thing I did. If a guy didn't want to take a vacation, they'd just pay him like a bonus, and that was it. But I always took a full month every year because I had a large family in Mississippi, and that's the reason I went so many times. And then my wife and Steve went until he grew up, and then she probably went 30 times, and then in the last bunch of years, I probably flew back by myself, and because we were always a close family, and all of them have come to see me over the years, and they've done a lot of traveling themselves, and we've been we were always close. We've been a
Yeah.
very fortunate family.
How about Mildred's family? Did she have brothers and sisters?
Yes, she had a brother that just passed away not too long ago.
So did you see them during?
Not often, no.
Did they live in the area?
Yeah, mhm.
Where is she? She's also from Niles?
Yes.
Oh, okay, so she knows Niles pretty well. Okay,
All right, getting back to Niles though, in the steel mill, we had a guy, really good amateur golfers out there, and they wanted me to, I never did play golf with them though, because I never did try to learn, because I kind of felt it was not a good family habit, because all the guys would leave their wives on weekends and so consequently, we belonged to the Gem and Mineral Society in Castro Valley. I never did work on too many stones, but I collected them from all over. That's when we really started to enjoy camping out, because you could hike, fish, collect materials. On my fence in the backyard, I've got a lot of stuff that I've brought home. I have started giving away a lot of stuff, and
so you collected.
One thing I'll like to tell you though, a good story. I have a 100 years collection of National Geographic magazine that I started right after I got out of the Navy, and so I would like to tell you one story about it. My wife and I, on our 50th anniversary, we went to Bangkok, Thailand, and then stayed about a week, and then we took a ship to Cape Town, South Africa. And it was about a month's trip from there. But we stopped at a lot of places. And you know, at cruise ships, they always, the night before, if it's something interesting, they'll have someone from that area talking about religions and stuff like that. But this lady was giving a talk on India. And she said the way she said, I think she did it for shock purposes, but anyway, she said the way the religion I belong to, the way we get rid of the bodies, we put it on the tower of silence, and vultures will devour the body within 4 to 5 hours. So I was talking to her later, and I told her, I said, you know, the first time I ever heard about that, I said, I read it in the December 1905 Geographic, and it blew her mind. She didn't know it was written up.
Yeah, that's funny.
But I had read about it there. But anyway, it blew her mind though.
Yeah.
Because she hadn't heard anything about it. So I even read about it when I got home. I read the article again.
So one of the things back about Niles, I noticed that you were political. You have a picture of the 1958 election.
Yeah.
Were
Well,
you active in Niles politics or?
Local politics, yeah. We worked with Jim Bray. Do you remember the guy here that passed away several years ago? But Jim was a great guy. He was blind, but he was a politician's politician. And everybody came to see Joe if they wanted help here at Fremont at the time.
Uh-huh.
But
So
anyway, but through the union, let's put it this way. In the 40s, late 40s, late 40s and 50s, the steel mill controlled about 3,000 votes. And that was a lot of votes at that time. So that's when we were always active. And
So what about the incorporation of Fremont? You were here during?
No, we didn't have anything to do with it.
Well,
no.
So you
I was
weren't
here.
active in that?
No,
Necessarily?
No.
So
No, I never
things
was active myself except,
through the steel?
what I did for years, I put out a paper, not years, yeah, it was several years I guess, put out a paper, and I got a few at home, like a monthly bulletin from the steel mill about what was going on.
Right.
And I still got a couple at home, I can't find them. But anyway, then after we married, my wife helped me put it out we put it out once a month. And I still got a few of them at home somewhere.
That would be great to
Yeah.
find. I would like to see
Yeah.
those.
Yeah.
So they were social and political,
Oh, yeah. Well,
a little bit of everything.
in fact, we had one president of our union, we elected him councilman here, Kenny Stedman.
Oh,
He was-
Stedman.
Yeah, Kenny was a steel worker.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that takes care of our union hall. We keep a hall open in Niles at the present time. And Ray Montalano, he was always on it. And several, I forget names now, but you gotta go along with me. Hell, I'm 93 years old. And, but anyway, Niles was something else though. They used to have an Essanay Day parade, they called it, instead of the flea market, which now is graduated from the Essanay Day.
Right.
And I remember one time, and I got these guys, we put this, TVs were new in the homes then.
Right.
And we fixed up this with a big lounge chair and a TV set on this flatbed truck. And I was just thinking about that the other day. And,
And that was from the steel mill? They had a
no,
TV? Or
that
it's
was,
just
I think just
group
steel
of
workers, we did that.
Steel workers as fun.
Yeah.
So you were you went together and
Put
were in
this
the
together.
parade,
Yeah,
for the
we put this
parade,
together.
for the Essanay
And then
Days.
I used to, we used to have a frog jump. For years, we'd go to Angel's Cap, the frog jump.
Right?
And so we had one at one of the parades down there that day. And then I've got a bunch of pictures. It was in the Hayward paper that my son and one of the guys across the street and a little girl that about their age lived on the street. And they put in the picture, they were practicing with the frogs then. And it's been a lot of problems.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah.
So are there any things that you remember about Niles? Did you ever go out, did you shop there and
Well,
once you got a car?
You say, all right, they had a shoe store there, they had a mercantile store, they had all that stuff, you know, and at least two grocery stores, and but of course that was before the big box stores came in, and that happened all over the United States now. A lot of these towns have just died.
Right, and did you remember Big Daddy's?
Oh, absolutely.
Did you go
We
there?
wound up in Big Daddy's after the bar closed, and I never will forget, there's one lady, I've told that about a lot of people, and everybody remembered her. She was one of the best bartenders around, and she could take care of the whole deal, and some of us would be not feeling any pain, you know, or something, but she was great. But we all stop at Big Daddy's all the time, yeah.
So do you remember when it opened?
I don't remember the day, or the year, but I remember when it opened. 'Cause
Oh.
I'm pretty sure, because I was there when
See,
they built
'cause,
it.
yeah, I
don't-
remember it in later
yeah.
years, but.
Now, a lot of things I've forgotten.
So what about, do you have anything else to tell me about Niles or any other stories about the area that you'd
Well,
like to tell?
I will say this, I've met some of the nicest people, and also people that you don't want to associate, but not many. But we used to have some great times in Niles. With all the bars, there was, the Columbia would have a band on, no, they just used a jukebox, but they come and dance from all over the area. At that time, Newark, Centerville, they closed up at dark, and everybody went to Niles because they had an all-night restaurant and all that. In other words, there was no action anywhere else. If we'd go to a dance over at the Portuguese Hall in Newark, everybody after dancing would always wind up in Niles at the Pierce Grill, because it was the only place in the whole township that stayed open all night.
Oh, it was all night?
Oh,
And
yeah.
that was right on the strip there?
Oh, yeah.
Where Niles is, the Pierce
I think
Grill?
that's pretty close to where Bronco Billy's is now.
Okay.
But I believe that's about along in there. But all the action was then.
So there was, Niles was always awake
Yeah.
at night?
Well, I can tell you one good story. There's when, like I said, the guy that I worked for sometime, Teddy Barr, was my next door neighbor. But anyway, when my son graduated from law school, on the wall in my backyard, we had a big party, and some people had made all these signs going past the bar.
Past the bar.
It was a copy of the Main Street there in Niles, going to past the bar. Yeah.
Oh, actually, also, I understand that you had parties at your house during the.
Well, it was an old Southern custom. If you had black-eyed peas and cornbread on New Year's, you have good luck. So my wife and I, we started right after we married, and the most people that ever signed the guest book was 86 people one day, and our house is small.
For New Year's?
Yeah, it was, yeah. But anyway, so every New Year's Day, ever since then, probably since then, even I've kept it up since my wife passed away in, it would be July 5 years ago. But we used to, now we have maybe anywhere from 20 to 35. But in those days, we wouldn't see some people, my friends, until between Christmas and the next day, New Year's and next New Year's. But I will have to say about one other party. We've had a lot of good parties there. But one other party, one of my friends that belonged to the Children Miller Society, she was in the hospital, Ramona Hopkins, and her husband was a captain in the police department. And we were supposed to go to these friends' house for a New Year's party. And Ramona had gone to the hospital and she couldn't make it. So Bob called me. He said, "Roby, stop by." And on the way up to, I forgot exactly the people's house. So we stopped and I told him, "Ramona," I said, "what we'll do, we just celebrate Christmas in July." So we did. And now that was one by invitation. We sent out invitations to that. But it was on August the 2nd we had it.
A
And I
Christmas
believe
in July party
it was written up in the paper. But anyway, we had a Christmas tree up. We only played Christmas music all day, and we stipulated you had to buy gift not exceeding $5, some novelty gift. And she had the greatest time in the world, sitting down in the middle of the floor, opening these gifts.
How
But
fun.
then she and one of her friends, well, she was a public health nurse, what she did. And Bob was in the police department. Both just, they were good campers and we really did have some great
What was
time.
their last name, and did they live in the area?
No, they lived in Bob Hopkins. He was a captain in the police department in Hayward.
In Hayward, okay.
And she was a public nurse. But we had some great times together.
You had some good parties then, so
All over, yeah.
your house was open a lot
Yeah, it
to
was,
people.
Yeah, and you know, like I said about it too much, is where I live, it's about 135 homes there. And, but there's only one way in and one way out. So consequently, we don't get any speeders or strangers unless they get lost or something like that. And it's right off Mission.
So you pretty much know your neighbors.
Yeah, oh, you do. Now, for years and years, we didn't have any strangers. There was no renters on the street. But then after the older people die off, sometimes they have to sell to settle an estate or something. And so now we get a few renters in there. But usually most of them are very nice folks, the ones I know. Yeah.
So did you, when you, in the 50s and 60s, you know, we started getting the shopping centers and everything.
Mhm.
So your
Well,
shopping was outside of Niles then after
At that time, see, they had the, well, they went to Hayward, and then what's that, where the hospital is?
Washington Hospital, Capwells, you mean?
Capwells, yeah. That was the two of the main places. But I used to go mostly I didn't do any shopping myself. I never was a shopper. And so, but we went, if you ordered a suit or slacks or something like that, I had a place in San Jose, but I didn't do any shopping. I really didn't.
Okay. Well, your wife died in 2012?
She'll be five years. She was 82 years old when she passed away. But like I said, we had a great life together, and we traveled all over the world. And I'd just like to do it again.
Okay, one last thing, I wanted to ask you about the steel mill and your retirement and
Yeah.
other,
Well, when the steel mill shut down in '79, it was on account of they couldn't compete with Japanese steel. The thing about it, the steel workers, you had a 30 and out at any age on your retirement. Now, it wasn't very much. I started receiving my pension when I was 54, when it shut down. But then the thing about it, it's never increased since. But basically, it was one of the few industrial plants that had a pension nationwide at that time. And then what we would do, usually this steel mill here, Pacific States Steel, they would accept what they finally, if they had to go on strike back east, they would finally accept whatever the national program settled for. So we were fortunate there. We did have, over the time, we had a lot of short walkouts over working conditions or something. But then right before the steel mill shut down, a couple of years, we had the only long strike we ever had, and it lasted about 6 months. And so nobody won, not us or the steel mill either. But it was a kind of a situation that there was so much publicity about the steel workers were not getting their pension. But we always got the pension. But we never did get any, up until damn near 20 years before we ever got a health program. It was almost 20 years. But I was fortunate, I always worked afterwards that I had health plan program. But anyway, anyone that in those 20 years, if they had the receipts and showed where they had to pay it, they were entitled to get what they had paid in themselves for it. And then now we do get a pension through the steel workers. And
wow, that was a long
yes, it was.
time.
Well, it was. They had to clean up the site first, and stuff like that. And then it went litigation so long, and anyway, this, you know, in Union City, it had incorporated by then. Well, they had to be they had to shut it down. Not only on the kind of competition, but it would begin to build up around it, and it was not a safe breathing place, this and the other.
I
But
see. So it closed in '79, and you were, how old were you when it closed?
54.
So what other work did you do after you left the steel mill?
I'm sorry.
What work did you do after you
I
left
work
the
in
steel?
construction.
Okay, in
Yeah,
what
I work for a
companies?
building contractor that built the New Park Village and Hilton Hotel, and then all the New Park shopping center there.
What was that company called?
It was Duffel Financial.
Duffel
See,
Financial.
So I worked with them a long time, and then different places, different from office buildings to yeah.
Okay, and then you worked for another
Then
company
after that, I worked for, I retired really, and I worked when I wanted to for the Marshalls, and it worked out great. They were great people.
The Marshalls? What?
Yeah, Marshall Brothers. They're in now their offices is in Livermore, but they had their office in Union City at one time. Then moved to Livermore several years ago. But we've had I visit them every once in a while. They visit me. We have a great time. It's
Great,
have had some great parties.
great. So is there anything else we've forgotten?
No, well, I could go on all day. You won't hear that just a bunch of bull, but no, because one thing brings on another almost.
Right, exactly.
But I can say I've enjoyed my life completely, and my father told me, you tell the truth, and you never have to remember what you said. You know, Judge Judy says that on once in a while, but that's the truth. He told me that when I was probably 5 or 6 years old,
Right.
and he also said, pay your bills and treat your fellow man right, and I've always done it. And on my card, you can see, if you see someone without a smile, give them one of yours.
There you
And,
go.
I've had a great life.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Roby.
All right.
Bye.
Disappointed.